Hey guys, Anna here. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another speed build. Today we are building a 5x2 bedroom family home in San Sequoia on the Sequoia Cottage lot, which is the lot which had a starter home. And this was my second attempt of a split level home, and I tried a different method in creating the split level. This was a method where you just have like a giant box underneath and then you delete it so the whole build is kind of hovering, and then you just put the terrain, raise the terrain underneath it so that it is risen. In the end, it didn't really turn out to be a split level home. In a way that it is, the main reason that it's not is because the entire house is just on one level. It's just that the backyard is at a lower level. Well, it's not really a backyard, it's more a side yard, is at a lower level to the house. It's almost just like the house is on a hill. But I really liked this build, so I continued to stick with it. It was at this point where I decided that I wasn't going to be able to do a split level. I also couldn't work out how to have the roof join on to the main structure from a different level. It was really, really confusing. I've seen others do it and I really want to learn how to do it, but at this stage I wasn't, my skills were not at that, quite at that level, but we were still managed to create this beautiful home. I am just currently doing some roofing and I wanted to add a lot of detail into the front. So that's why you can see these kind of hovering bump outs in the front sections of the pieces of the build. And these added quite a lot of character to the build and also helped me with roofing. As you can see, I'm using lots of different shapes of roofs just to try to layer it the best that I can so that it looks seamless, and joining all of the joins in the roof. I don't know what they're called. They're called something that I'm not quite sure, but it's like the frame of the roof. Anyway, we've put in a chimney on the side, so I'm just adding in another bump out, and that part we do move the build all the way to the right so that you do have a side yard to the left of the build. You'll see that shortly. And I've just moved the chimney to the side. I've been doing this a lot lately where I do put the chimney kind of tucked into the side of the build, and I really like it. I think that it fits quite nicely with the overhang section. Right, so I'm just, as I said, I'm playing around with the terrain manipulation quite a lot. This structure and doing the shell took me the longest time. I had to cut out a lot of footage just to ensure that, you know, this video was not 3 hours long. And it took, the other thing that was quite challenging with this particular build was the color scheme. The exterior of the build will change. So I think I choose potentially a white and green sliding to begin with. And then in the end, you'll see we end up with like canary yellow mixed with a brick color, and it is beautiful. You would have seen from the thumbnail, and I just feel that that was such a good decision. It was actually a decision I made last minute on this build, and I am really happy with it. So this is the side yard. We are just going around with some fencing just to kind of fence out that area, and I do create a little bit of a back port, a side port. I keep saying back, it's the side. With the terrain, and this really helped in kind of working out how I was going to do the landscaping and where I was going to put all of the things. There is a like playground behind this build, so I wasn't too phased if I couldn't put a lot of like children's play toys. I think I do put in a swing set and some bikes and whatnot, but again, it wasn't my main priority because there are like activities to do in the world of San Sequoia. So yeah, I paved the entire like backyard section, and then obviously I am using these quarter tiles. So if you go Control F, you get to, on a floor tile, it will create a quarter tile, and that's how I'm able to create more like of a diagonal precise pathing, I guess you could say. So I'm pretty sure we stick with it, but I use the Businesses and Hobbies brown kind of warm tone brick color. I love this brick color. It's my favorite. And as you can see, I paired it with that teal wallpaper. It definitely does change. All right, we are inside quickly to do the floor plan. So I placed the stairs because with this being a 2-story build, I need to place the stairs so I know where I'm going. So you have an entryway, you have a kind of like a little foyer section where the stairs are. You then have so obviously I've separated this in kind of wings, the left and the right wing. So the right side of the build has 2 teens bedrooms and a bathroom, a laundry, and just like a general foyer to the back of the property. And then the left side is entirely living areas. So as you can see now, I've put in the side door to the back and I'm kind of mapping out the kitchen. I really loved this kind of pillar that I've added in because it helps create division between the kitchen and that hallway that is heading to the back door. So it naturally creates that, and I really love that. This is a beautiful kitchen. We also have the dining table and the living room in this space. And yeah, so that is mainly the downstairs, and then upstairs we put in there's another 3 bedrooms. Yeah, because it's a 5x2. So there's 3 bedrooms and a bathroom upstairs. And as I said, I managed to put in a laundry. This build also includes, so it's just like an open space, kitchen, dining, tons of skill building, lots of kids activities, because we have a storyline. So all of the month of September, all of our builds are based upon a storyline. And the storyline that I have for this particular build is a blended family, kind of like, so it's a couple who the mum is a teacher, the dad is a stay-at-home writer. He works from home and he writes. They had 2 children. So they had 2 teenagers and they decided to foster a child and an infant. And they, decided to expand their house and their household. And now they feel that their house and family is complete with the addition of the infant and the child. And it is, thus it makes a very busy household. So yeah, and you can definitely see that this is probably more on the cluttered side of my builds. Usually I don't make super cluttered builds, but this build is more on the cluttered side. There's tons to do for family, gameplay and whatnot. Speaking of gameplay, this build is available on the Sims 4 gallery. My gallery ID is Antoinette.44. It is in the description below if needed. So if you would like to download and play in this house, you can do so. So upstairs you have a big master bedroom off to the right hand side of the build, and then the left side of the build has a small hallway that has a bathroom, a kids room and an infant's room. And in that foyer we do have some skill building and some other activities, I believe. But yeah, that's generally the floor plan for this build. And I really love the layout on this one. I think it is gorgeous. It took me a while to kind of work out what I wanted to do. Okay, so it's coming back to me. So that little tiny room is where the laundry is. And then the door out in that kind of foyer space, I do end up putting like some desks in there because that is the side of the house that has the teenagers. So I thought having like a study nook, improv study section would be really good. All right, so we're now kind of moving more into the detailed decorating. So we are in the kitchen and I put in a ton of clutter. I use a lot of the kitchen clutter kit paired with Parenthood. Those upper cabinets are from the Country Kitchen kit. I think that's what it's called. And yeah, just used a lot of clutter. I've mentioned this in the previous build. I love this little painted plate. I think it's so cute. And I really loved these bar stools. These are actually from Parenthood. and I love that kind of checkered print, that baby blue. So I've paired that blue in with the backsplash tile, but also in the sofa that's in the living room. This is actually from the Basement Treasures kit, and I love how old and worn it looks. And I just added some pink pillows to kind of emphasize the pink that's in the sofa. I thought that was really sweet. And I cannot stress this enough. This just, the way that this is decorated, it's just kind of cutesy. I've got the grilled cheese portrait there. That's from what's that from? Kitchen Clutter Kit. This is just such a standard traditional family home. And it is definitely one of my favorite builds this month. I think we've done some really lovely family homes. There is still another family home to do, and I cannot wait to share that with you. But for now, this is what we're doing. So, as I said, we do have pets in this home. I did forget we do have pets in this home. I can't remember if I made room for a cat or whether it is just a dog. I'm not 100% sure. The curtains of choice are from the Modern Luxe kit. I love these curtains. They're quite elegant. I could have gone with a base game curtain to kind of fit the theme as well. But yeah, this is where we're at. So we've just got I'm just cluttering up this space further. I've used a lot of cats and dogs in this build as well. Those armchairs come from cats and dogs. Also that tall lamp, I use that all the time. And I'm pretty sure that corner decoration cabinet that has all the chinaware in it, that's also from cats and dogs, I believe. Now, this is interesting. The front door, I believe, is from Wedding Stories. No, it's not from Wedding Stories. It's worn. It is a bit worn. So I want to say that potentially this build, it's either a bit on the older side or it is potentially furnished in the way that maybe this family like a bit more of a vintage look. And that would explain why they're using such old furniture, but also the door, you can see that it's a bit worn. Anyway, that's what I perceive. All right, we are outside and we are doing the landscaping. As usual, I wanted to keep the landscaping pretty simple because I wanted the house to stand out. So I do just use a lot of greenery and whites. I don't think I put in a lot of color. I loved this little car in this improv driveway. I thought that was really cute. The pop of red does help. Add some more appeal to the front of the build. We do put pink, and I think that that's a good choice because in the end, like, we use yellow, and yellow and pink looks really good together. Put in some layloing flowers and some extra ferns and hydrangeas and whatnot around the other side of the build. We will put in some terrain paint and stuff towards the end of the build. I believe we go back through and do the final touches, but at this stage it's just like absolutely cluttering all of that front garden space because it looked a bit weird on the hilly sections. So I've added that in, and I've just added in some trees that are compatible with this area. All right, so this is the side yard. So I've put in a grill, a seating area. I put in some bikes, a hopscotch, and we do end up putting in a swing set. I've used the one that comes with Growing Together bonus content. So this is if you would, obviously, if you had bought the pack early, you get this particular swing set. It's my favorite swing set in the whole entire game. So it really is a shame that there are potentially people who aren't able to access that piece. But yeah, I like it nonetheless. All right, we just went through the laundry very quickly, but there was a litter box. So you could have a cat in this particular build. We are now up to that kind of skill room improv study area, which is just located outside of the laundry. I don't know. I guess that this would be where a back door would be. And this would be definitely a mudroom, but because we have a side yard and there's no back of the house, I felt that this was the best use of the space. I put in some kids' drawings and stuff. even though we do have a child, but I did feel that this was more the teens area of the house. You know, maybe those children's drawings were from them when they were a child. You never know. So it's, again, I wanted to really imply that a family lives here, and it's a very much, an established family, which, yeah, because this is I think, how many, there's what, 4 kids? Is it 4 kids? Yeah. There's like 4 children. Well, yeah, 2 teenagers, 1 child, and 1 infant. Yeah. Anyway, we are in the teens bathroom. And because this is the teens section of the build, I really wanted to clutter this bathroom up with lots of little cutesy things because there are teenagers that use this particular bathroom. I believe we have a male teen and a female teen. So their bedrooms are quite lovely, and they're on the lower floor. All right, this is the part of the build where I changed the wallpaper, and immediately I am so happy with the decision. I just love the pairing of the brick with the sliding, and I think the yellow is quite a sweet color. So we do start in the female teens room, which is the first bedroom to the front of the door. Front of the door. The front of the house. You can gain access from the main central walkway of the house, and this is just really pretty. I loved the inspiration of this room came from that high school years bed, the pink and the blue. I don't think I've used this rug before. I want to say it comes with university, and it was really girly, and it also kind of made me think of butterflies, which then brought in these wall decoration pieces, and they all fit perfectly. So I've got in a hobby board. I've got lots of like sporting stuff. She's got like a little ribbon. So maybe for storytelling, she's a cheerleader or something, and she won an award. I don't know. Like, the storytelling you could do in this particular room is definitely one of more of a girly girl, a popular girl. That's what I would presume that space to be. And then we go over to her brother's room, which is very sporty. And I feel like all my storylines run this way. I need to come up with better storylines in terms of my male Sims. They always do the same thing. But yeah, this is the standard sporty kind of, teenage room. It's even got the navy blue wallpaper. If you know, I put in a punching bag just because it's a bigger room. It's simple, it does the job, and I like it. It's a really lovely space. Put in some extra posters and some ribbons and stuff. I do feel that this is a high achiever sim for sure. There's like trophies and medals and all sorts. All right, so we are upstairs in the foyer section, and I put in another desk. I put in a cat tree. I put in this cute little ottoman just for decoration pieces more than anything. I think I put in a kids table as well, an arts table, arts and crafts, just trying to add a little bit more activities. I put in a computer because at this stage there wasn't a computer anywhere in this build, which is funny because of the size. It's massive. You'd think there'd be like all these computers, but there's not. So anyway, I did that. And then we are now in the master bedroom. I did feel that this room was quite big, so I've actually used a closet. This one comes from Get Together, and I don't normally include these in my builds, but again, the size of this room I just felt was a bit much, so I've added it in. Do I keep this chair? So this sofa comes from my first pet stuff actually. So yeah, okay. Now this is coming back to me. So this is my favorite room in the entire house. This is the child's room. I am obsessed with the color scheme. I'm obsessed with how fun and bright it is. I forgot we had this curtain. This comes from high school years, and I think it is perfect for a child's room or like a nursery as opposed to a, teen room. But I just love it. It's like that kawaii decor, and it is beautiful. All right, final room of the house is the infant's room. This is a standard infant's room. There's not too much going on. I think I use a blue color scheme. I use a combination of Get Together and Base Game in here, and we keep it very simple. Yeah, I've used like a blue color scheme. Put these really adorable animal portraits that come from Base Game, and a lot of the Base Game infant update furniture as well, paired with a little bit of the storybook nursery kit. Not too much because it was a very small room. All right, we are now live in game and we're going to go through for a quick tour. So I think at some point my landscaping deleted itself. I know that there was a glitch that was doing that, so I'm just going to quickly go around and add in all of my terrain paint under the plants and whatnot. Just finalizing that, making sure that it looks all good. And then we'll be heading inside. So you enter the property into like a little entry space. I have a cupboard there and whatnot. It's like a landing space. Through the hall onto the left side of the build, which is your open area. You have your kitchen, dining, your living, and you also have that side door that leads to the outside where you have a seated area, a grill, you have your clothesline, you have some kids stuff, and you have the hopscotch and whatnot. You then go back through the center of the house where you have your laundry room, your skill building section, into the first male teens room, the bathroom for the downstairs, and the second teens room. Lovely. You then head upstairs to a landing space that has your computer, into the master bedroom. Really beautiful in here, red and warm tones. Into the upstairs bathroom, very simple, but it does have a potty. And my favorite room of the house, which is this child's room. And lastly, the infant's room, which is very standard. And that is the build today, guys. Thank you so much for joining me for today's build. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please consider liking, subscribing, and leaving a comment. And I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye for now.